Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Bennett, and I am a security expert. And I wrote the book called ISP Certification, the Industrial Security Professional Exam Manual. And it was just a study guide to help people build their confidence to be able to take the ISP certification test. And since then, this book's been applicable also for the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agencies, or SPED, Security Professional Exam or Education Development. They have a certification called the Industrial Security Oversight Certification. So this test applies, or this study guide applies to that. I originally wrote it because I had heard many people make comments on how they were not able to complete their test. They ran out of time and they had failed for many reasons. And I wrote that study guide to help them do it, to build the confidence. I wrote the study guide to help me study. And once I studied and took the test, I finished it a half an hour early. And I had my defining moment at that time. What I mean by that is if I can get through that test and have plenty of time, maybe I can help other people to do this. Again, my book and the study course isn't meant to replace the study material that is offered by NCMS. It's just meant to augment that study material, as well as the material that's put out by the CDSE, all their study material. This is just an augmentation for that and some practice questions. So I put together the ISP certification book as a paperback and as a Kindle, and they're offered on Amazon.com. And I also made a shorter version of the book to make it more affordable for some people. And so the book led to some training and that I've developed, and I've developed something called the fundamentals of NISPOM. And primarily it's a walk through the NISPOM, again, to give people confidence to, one, run their security programs, but two, if they want to take a certification test, they will have the fundamentals and the background to do that. I think it's very important to develop behaviors or even change your behavior so that every day you're reflecting on NISPOM. Two, it's very important to set a goal, and that goal is register for the ISP certification or the ISOC certification as soon as possible. Then prepare, because in most cases you have 1 year to take that test from the date that you register. Chances are, if you're allowed to register, then you're prepared to take the exam, because nobody understands everything about NISPOM. The things that you should understand is which words may be that NISPOM uses that you may find on an exam, which acronyms, and they differ greatly from best practices. So the tests are based on guidance, not on best practices. So you have to get into your head, I'm reading guidance, and this test is going to be based on the guidance that's put out. My best practices or how we implement NISPOM at my facility may not be the right answer for the test. And so a combination of, one, changing your behavior to review the NISPOM in the right way every day, and two, the goal setting that you do kind of puts spark within you and gives you motivation to go ahead and study and take that exam. It happens to me all the time. I can't write a book unless I set a goal. And so I want to pass this on to you. And in just a quick minute, I'm going to put up a screen. I'm going to lead you through my ISP study tips. And this is complimentary from me to you. And it could also be called ISOC study tips, but it's meant more for the ISP certification exam. My intent is not to teach cheating or not to teach any of the questions that were used on the exam, but just to teach you how to study for and prepare for the exam. So we'll not be talking about the test or even talking about NCMS. I'm just talking about how to conduct yourself so that you're prepared to take the exam. All right, so here we go. Here's the slide deck, and these slides will be available for you at the end. You can download them right from the site. And here we go. All right, so a little bit about the test. You'll give 2 hours to take a 110 question exam. And the exam is primarily in the NISPOM. And you will have at the test, you will have the resources you need for the ISP. You'll have the resources that you need to be able to take the test and answer the questions. The problem is that you need to keep in mind is you can't just walk in empty-handed and just search the NISPOM and pass the test. I'm going to teach you some skills that you will need to have the NISPOM committed to your heart, soul, and mind, so that when you walk in, you can answer the questions confidently without having to look up very much of it. So begin with this course and this short course and these short instructions that they give you, but you might want to consider going in and taking the fundamentals of NISPOM. That's later. You can find that link on redbikepublishing.com, but the actual course is at it's at Bennett Institute /courses, and I'll put that up on the well, actually you've got it here. It's where you're taking this course. You just go back out to the courses page and take it there. All right, so you'll also be able to choose electives. And what I recommend is, yes, sure, study for those electives, but there are going to be so few questions that the electives will not be a factor. If you fail or pass a test, it's going to be based on the questions in the NISPOM. And I'll give you an example. I took the SFPC exam and the SAPPC exam that's offered by the Security Professional Education Development, the SPEED courses. Took those exams, and the way I studied for them is what I'm recommending here. You go to the exam website, download information about the test, and they'll tell you 50% of the course is based on personnel security, 10% of the course is based on physical security. I'm making up these numbers because I can't remember. And 20% of the course is based on information security. And so I said, well, if I want to pass this test, I'm going to focus on if there's an 80% pass rate, or if you had to make an 80% on a test to pass it, I'm going to focus on 2 areas that will get me to 80%. That way I'm not studying the entire subject matter, just those areas. And from there you can go and narrow down in the NISPOM which chapters cover those areas. And for the SAPPC and the other CDSE certifications that are offered, I went and studied only those CDSE courses that would give me to my 80% rate. And so it works every time. So there's test taking techniques and there's study techniques. And mostly here I'm going to focus on study techniques and a few test taking techniques. All right, so again, I've got some old terminology here, but I recommend one using a NCMS mentor, also using their study guides, as well as the free plan is go to the CDSE or the DSS Academy, that's the old terminology, and pull down the courses. Take as many courses as you can, but just keep in mind at that website, their education is from the point of view of a government employee protecting classified information. They get their guidance from elsewhere. It does not come from NISPOM. NISPOM is specifically written for cleared contractors and their protection of classified information. The terminology is different. I'll give you an example. In the NISPOM, we know as a restricted area as a designated area that you can use to work on classified information. You can introduce classified information to this restricted area, control access, put a sign on the door or whatever, work on the classified information. But when you are done, you must hand carry it out and lock it up properly. A restricted area, as far as U.S. government is concerned, is an area designated for no entry. That's simply put. It doesn't have anything to do with classified information. It has everything to do with physical security and keeping unauthorized people out. So keep that in mind when you study. The best thing for you to study at this point for the ISP is the NISPOM and courses like this that are based on the NISPOM. So what you'll need to practice is you should go to the DICSA website, the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency, to their website and download their NISPOM with the ISLs. It comes in PDF form and you can search it, and then you can get practice questions. I got practice questions by just writing questions out from the NISPOM. I do have practice questions available at my website, redbikepublishing.com. In my book, ISP Certification, the Industrial Security Professional Exam Manual, I have 4 110 question tests there. So there are many places to get practice questions. That's just part of it. One is using practice questions to test your knowledge. The other one is to soak in the NISPOM in an appropriate way. And again, make your goal prior to the test. You need to register and set a goal to take the test. And it can be a year in advance or months in advance. This is kind of your clock that you can backward plan, develop your roadmap to pass this exam.